Happy Monday, television family. Back at it here. We're going to work. It's Monday. We're going to work moderately hard. We don't jump right into these shows. You know how it is. Third day of June, 2024. Our first show of June, for that matter. Big weather system heading our way. We haven't had this kind of cold front, this strong, packing a lot of punch this late in the year. It's been a long, long time since we've had something that's going to happen today. Wind, big time wind. Now it's been windy the last couple of days. We're talking really windy today. We can see gusts close to 50 miles an hour. The rain is, we're not out of the woods yet. In fact, it's sprinkling lightly here in the Wenatchee Valley. But today is going to be very active weather-wise, especially this afternoon, tonight, all day Tuesday into Tuesday night. It's going to be very, very windy. Things calm down Wednesday, and then by the time we get to Friday, it's going to be downright hot. Quite uncomfortable, as a matter of fact, for you folks who plan on attending the Wenatchee High School commencement exercises, because it's outside. Could be close to 90 degrees. It'll leave off the field at the Apple Bowl on Friday night. Warmer still on Saturday, a little bit of a cool down. So we're going to get really hot. It's going to start feeling like June, but we got to get there first. And today is going to be a pretty cattywampus day weather-wise. We even have a wind advisory. We don't get those too often. We have one. Forecast details are coming up. We got news. We got sports. Great weekend for the Mariners. They swept the Angels. Great weekend for the Apple Sox. They swept the Port Angeles Lefties. So local fans of baseball, both professional and right here in the big city, had a good weekend. Highlights of all of that, plus the WVSO had the big Wenatchee 200 on Saturday night. In the back half of the program, we're getting close to the third weekend in June, and the third weekend in June around here always means the Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival. Chuck Egner is the guy in charge of getting the bands to come to Cashmere for the Bluegrass Festival. Chuck will be my guest again, so always good to talk to Chuck. We'll have him in the back half of the program, and all the usual shenanigans apply. 2 minutes after the hour, 52 rather cool degrees. Let's begin our tour around the valley. Same cameras we used on Friday for reasons unknown. That, of course, is the Heights camera. Still pretty green out there. We really did need the rain. We were supposed to get quite a bit of rain overnight last night into this morning. It hasn't really happened. We're in a drought. We're in a big-time drought. We are parched. But the rain kind of slid to the south of us a little bit. And so it kind of missed out on the rain. We're still not out of the woods. Still could get a little bit of rain today, but not as much as we were hoping for. Anyway, again, the big story is going to be the wind. Up to number 1 Canyon we go to take a look at the west side of the valley, over to Badger Mountain, and a good view of East Wenatchee. You can't quite make out the Columbia River. Trust me, it's down there somewhere. Saturday's high was 75. Yesterday we only got to 67. We're not going to get to 67 today, by the way. It's going to be even cooler than that. It's going to be about 10 degrees below normal today with a lot of wind. Let's head on up to Lake Chelan from the Upper Butte and say good morning to Wapato Point. You can see a good swath of both Manson and the south shore of Lake Chelan. It's starting to blow up there, and everybody is going to have wind. Everybody in our viewing area is going to have strong winds. In fact, all of eastern Washington, as this rather vigorous cold front barrels into the valley. It's on its way. In fact, it should be here by the time this show is over. And finally up to McNeil Canyon, yet another view of the Lake Chelan area from McNeil Canyon, peeking over the edge there to the lake proper. You can see a little bit of Chelan in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. And those high-level clouds are starting to pick up their motion quite a bit, which is an indication that we have some serious wind coming our way. 2 slides for the National Weather Service. First of all, going to be wet in some locations, not so much in the other one. It looks something like this. Thunderstorms is a possibility in some locations. Take a look at where you live. The best chance of thunderstorms around our area is going to be up in the Methow Valley, but there is still going to be some additional rain. Portland and Seattle just got hammered with serious rain over the weekend. So we still have a chance of some light rain, some sprinkles anyway, before this day is over. Whatever wind we're going to have, whatever rain we're going to have is going to be done by about 12 noon. But the big story today, wind, and a lot of it. We have a wind advisory for the Wenatchee Valley. Look at that. Wind gusts near 50 miles an hour later on today. The wind will be picking up in intensity as the day progresses. The wind will be at its peak, especially late this afternoon. All night tonight. It's going to be windy, not quite as windy on Tuesday, but still very windy on Tuesday before this rather powerful cold front leaves our area Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then a significant warming trend. But the big story today, is the wind. Those are your peak wind gusts. Sustained winds are going to be about 20 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour in some locations that are prone to, well, wind. From the National Weather Service, here you go. Did I mention it's going to be windy today? We do have a wind advisory. It starts at 8 o'clock this morning, goes until 11 o'clock tonight. They may extend that. Not very warm, only 65. Clouds this morning, sunshine this afternoon, but again, good strong winds, 20, 25 sustained winds, wind gusts close to 50 for the Wenatchee Valley later on this afternoon. Wind dies down a little bit, but not much. Gusts about 40 miles an hour overnight tonight. Overnight low of about 47 degrees. Tomorrow, still wind, lots of sunshine, going to be warmer, but still very windy at times, and a high of 70 on Tuesday. We finally see the wind die down Tuesday night, overnight low of about 47, and then here we go. We are going to be under the influence of a big dome, a high pressure, and that's going to start cooking us up, folks. 78 Wednesday, 86 Thursday, lower 90s on Friday, mid-90s on Saturday. When was the last time we hit 90 degrees? It's been a while, probably last September, but it's coming our way. Once we get through the next couple of days, especially today and this afternoon, where the winds will be howling here in the Wenatchee Valley. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have your headlines for you. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel. The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Let's go! Put your hands together for the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just basketball, people. This is where what just happened happens all the time. Don't miss the Harlem Globetrotters 2024 World Tour presented by Jersey Mike Subs at Town Toyota Center on June 16th. Go to harlemglobetrotters.com for tickets.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE master techs and well versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare's flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
Mixture of clouds and sun. The big story today, very, very windy this afternoon, tonight, all day Tuesday. We calm down Tuesday night. We'll have nothing but sunshine and warm temperatures Wednesday and downright hot by the weekend. It's 9 minutes after the hour. Police say they've arrested one of 2 people suspected of tagging Lee Elementary School in East Wenatchee with some gang graffiti and firing a gun while on school grounds. The Columbia River Drug Task Force on Friday arrested 18-year-old Enrique Agustin Torres of East Wenatchee. He was arrested at a home on North Devon Avenue. East Wenatchee police believe Torres and an associate left gang graffiti on multiple portable classrooms at Lee, and they say a review of surveillance footage showed that the suspects also discharged a firearm. A search of a nearby Clements Circle home on May 17th allegedly found evidence, including gang paraphernalia and a handgun modified to fire fully automatic. Torres faces possible charges of unlawful possession of a firearm, discharging a firearm, and malicious mischief. The second suspect, by the way, is still being sought. Moses Lake School District announced more layoffs. They did this on Wednesday as part of their ongoing budget crisis. In addition to the 100 layoffs that were announced earlier in May, the district will need to cut 85 additional classified staff. That means paraeducators, assistant teachers, custodians, transportation staff, and secretaries, among other positions. The Moses Lake School District says the $20 million budget shortfall is due to an accounting area, a twice-failed levy, reduced funding, and increased operational costs. The district says they're going to work with the North Central Educational Services District to review its budget and explore alternatives to mitigate the need for future layoffs. The Washington Army National Guard on Thursday landed their first fleet of Lakota helicopters at the former Executive Flight Building at Pangbourne Memorial Airport. The Guard announced plans last year to situate an air unit at the former commercial offices and their 2 aircraft hangars. About 100 soldiers will conduct drills out of Pangbourne on a monthly basis, including the National Guard's 286th Firefighting Detachment. The Guard says it gives them a key central Washington base from which to respond to statewide emergencies. Plans for a more permanent flight facility at Pangbourne are in the works. A Douglas County man who's already in prison received an additional 17-month sentence on Wednesday for fleeing Chelan County deputies and crashing his vehicle into a trailer. 30-year-old Dominique Rochand Lockhart of Palisades was behind the wheel of a borrowed van back in March of 2023 when a deputy attempted to pull him over on Highway 2 near School Street for erratic driving. Lockhart instead fled into the lower Sunny Slope area. Then he abandoned the van on Warm Springs Drive, where it rolled into a parked utility trailer. Lockhart disappeared from the scene, but the next month he was arrested for an unrelated crime in Adams County. He is now, he was given a 43-month sentence for that. He's now incarcerated at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla. More than 125 firefighters working for Boeing, including a number of those employed at the Grant County International Airport, are back on the job. There was a 4-week lockout by Boeing. The International Association of Firefighters Local I-66 voted Wednesday to accept a tentative new contract with Boeing after their most recent agreement expired back in March. The union argued Boeing firefighter pay was far less than that offered by local fire departments. Under the agreement, they expect to receive a 2 to 3% annual raise for the next 3 years, plus other benefits. The aircraft manufacturer locked union firefighters out of their facilities in Moses Lake, Everett, and Seattle after they rejected the initial contract proposal earlier last month. And plans are already underway for the 106th Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. The festival announcing that Kurt Ulrich, who works for the Washington State Department of Revenue, he'll be the Director General. That's the head volunteer. So he will oversee the board of directors for the 2025 festival. Retired elementary school teacher Kathy Campbell will serve as Assistant Director General, and Marianne Castro, who's a bookkeeper at St. Joseph's Catholic School, will become Program Director, which means she will be the Director General in 2027. Wenatchee City Council member Linda Harold will serve as the Chancellor of the Appellarians, which is the official hosting group at the festival. Next year's theme, by the way, is the best time ever. And that is what's making news on the best Monday ever. And if you're interested in what's going on around the Wenatchee Valley, we have a program you might be interested in. It's called The News. Check it out. The News at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight, 5, 6, and 10. If it doesn't work into your busy schedule, and we know you're busy, you can watch the news via the World Wide Web. Our news will be up and running on our homepage, ncwlife.com, our Facebook page, our YouTube page. We got Instagram. We got an app. You can download it right there. There's your QR code. Pick up your smartphone and snap away. And if something out there you think warrants our attention, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. If you like the Mariners, you had a good weekend. If you like the Apple Sox, you had a good weekend. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Thanks to Les Schwab Tires, I'm a confident backseat driver, but Mom's a little stressed about spending. Remember, deep breaths and watch your speed. Even though we're watching our wallets, Les Schwab is still watching out for our safety. So turn here.
Roll into summer. Save up to $200 instantly on a wide selection of tires and wheels. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
My name's Nick Dirk, and I've been a cinematographer-photographer for over 10 years. I got my start at the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center. Without the Tech Center, I wouldn't have got my first job in media production 3 months after I graduated high school.
My name is Charlie Voris, and I own Vortex Productions. My work has taken me on exciting adventures all around the world, and I got my start at Wenatchee Valley Tech.
Hey, my name is Ole Mingo, and I'm the Executive Director at Heirloom Creatives in Wenatchee. I am so thankful for Wenatchee Valley Tech to be able to have my dream career.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
16 minutes after the hour, the Seattle Mariners complete their 3-game sweep over the Angels yesterday afternoon. The final there was 5-1. Stellar pitching from Luis Castillo, and Mitch Garver had a good day as well.
Rayleigh hit a homer yesterday and was robbed of the home run that Moniak pulled back in the game on Friday.
Oh, this is smashed, laced to right field, a screamer, and it just gets over the wall. Luke Rayleigh with an absolute rocket over the fence, and the Mariners take the lead. Pretty good hitting here. You can see him set up away, pretty much in the middle of the plate. That was after a changeup. Comes back with the fastball, a two-seamer, exit velo. He has homered in back-to-back games.
Somebody's Netflix password in that helmet of nachos. Call it a night. This is, wow, in time. You talk about showing off over there at third. Man, Josh Rojas getting it done.
And it looked like it was going to be a perfect bunt. Rojas was playing back a little bit. Good defense.
And he did get it. You know what's great about that? He never quit on it. He kept coming in. Luis peeled off, came in and threw it, and Ty dug it out.
The 1-1. It hit him. Luke Rayleigh drives in his second run. This time it comes. Julio at third. France runner at second. Rayleigh at first base. The payoff to Mitch Garver. Line left field. Base hit. Julio is in. He's waving the rest home. Here is France. Here is Rayleigh. Mitch Garver just cleared him off. 5-0 Mariners in the 8th inning. Well, for the Mariners, the first base hit with runners in scoring position, and it drives in 3. Gets a full count, another fastball, pretty much in the middle of the plate. That's a solid line drive. Rojas onto the warning track. Does he have the room? He does, and the Mariners win it. They have
Mariners complete their 7-game homestand with a 6-1 record. Needless to say, that makes manager Scott Service a pretty happy dude.
Fantastic homestand. 6-1 against divisional opponents. Awesome to see our guys find a way to win, and did it in different ways. Luis Castillo, wow. There's no panic in Luis Castillo. You see it all the time. Early in the game, could be a couple guys on, or even if you're giving up a home run or whatever. I just, that's what I do. I pitch. I just keep pitching and grinding through it, and all of a sudden you'll find it. And he did today. And thank God for us, because early in the game I'm thinking, wow, it might only be 5 or 6 innings today. And then I thought the 6th inning was the best inning of the day. Started to find his slider, because he really didn't have that at all early in the game, and then was able to get through the 7th. So the value of that guy in a starting rotation. All our guys are really good, super talented, but he is the rock. He's the anchor. Certainly offensively, Rayleigh has been smoking hot here, the last few days. A big home run and really good at bats. Fortunate there to get a couple add-on runs in the 8th inning, and they're huge. I thought Mitch Garver had a good day today. Mitch has been struggling a little bit, so see him get a big hit late in the game like that, it's huge. At the end of the day, you just got to put it all aside. I got to get in there and compete, and that's what we did in this homestand. A lot of close games, certainly in the Astros series, a couple in this one. We could have let the first game of this series get away from us after they got a big hit, the grand slam to tie the game. We just keep competing. Keep grinding out at bats, finding a way to get guys on base and make something happen, and we did it again today. So you say all that, you can compete as hard as you want and all that stuff. You need talent. We have talent. It's starting to get on a little roll here, but it's great to play at home. We've played very well at home. We've pitched well at home. Our fans are a big part of it. They're into it. You feel it, and they expect when they come to see us play that we're going to win.
And the Mariners finally get a day off. They played 17 games in 17 days. They get to rest today. They'll be in Oakland tomorrow. By the way, George Kirby will get the start tomorrow for the Mariners. A little closer to home, the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Wow, I'm liking this. They're off to a hot start. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to do the American League West standings. Let's do that from our friends at Les Schwab. Your scores from yesterday: again, Seattle knocked off the Angels. Minnesota got by the Astros. The final there was 4-2. It was the Braves over the Athletics 3-1. And the Rangers kept pace by knocking off the Marlins 6-0. Seattle has a 4-game lead over Texas and 7.5-game lead over the Astros. Now we can go to the Apple Sox, who are off to a hot start despite their full roster isn't even in town yet for a few more weeks. They swept the Port Angeles Lefties over the weekend, starting with Friday night's 4-1 victory. And we had that game right here on the NCW Live channel.
Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to Paul Thomas Senior Baseball Stadium here on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. It is time for another season of Apple Sox baseball, the 25th campaign for this organization as they welcome in the Port Angeles Lefties to start the West Coast League season. By the time you get to the latter portion of the season, these teams are going to look a lot different. This pitch is fisted into the air, and that's going to be a fair ball down the left field line. Rounding first, heading for second. How about the first hit of 2024 for the Apple Sox? A stand-up double for Max Hartman. Pitch on the way here to
that ball
swung on by Benavidez, and it is going to score a run. Our first run of the 2024 season will be off a sacrifice fly from the bat of Cade Benavidez as the Apple Sox lead at 1-0.
As a coach, you say, is it a ball you could hit out of the ballpark?
Well, we got a tie game because the pitch was high and inside for ball 4. So give an RBI to Giesig, and we're tied at 1-1. Kind of just going, okay, who do I have?
Yeah,
there's a ground ball through for a base hit and an RBI for Gianni, and he will drive in the Apple Sox second run. Wenatchee leads it 2-1. 2-2 count to Johnson. Pitch swung on, and a line drive base hit into left field. That's going to score the third run of the season for the Apple Sox. Give a little cushion here in the 8th inning. The 0-1 pitch swung on a chop towards the left side. Third baseman dives, makes the play, throws to first, and it's dug out, and that will be an out. Another run's going to score. Wenatchee's on top 4-1. It is strike 2. So 3-2 the count. The runners are going to go.
Yep. Runners will be moving on this, so you got to go across to 1 with a ground ball here.
Hammergren's pitch swung on and fouled into the glove of the catcher, and Scheffler will squeeze it, and that'll be the final out. And the Apple Sox win the opener of the 2024 campaign by a final of 4-1 here tonight.
After the game, our very own Eric Granstrom had a chance to visit with Max Hartman, who stroked a couple of doubles, got on base 5 times.
And Max Hartman joining us now. Max, just a couple of doubles, a couple of stolen bases, just what you're used to, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good start. Get the first hit as an Apple Sox out of the way, and then get the fans in it early. It was fun. It was fun to be part of it.
So tell me about your journey to wind up here in Wenatchee. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at WSU, and they said it was a good fit for me, and I really liked Mitch here. He gets fired up, and I really like the culture he has going here. So
a fun game, a great atmosphere, Mitch. You got to be happy about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Good crowd tonight. Really good starting pitching on both ends. Not a lot of action there early on, but we found a way to get it done.
Let's talk about your starter, Blake Reese. I mean, I wasn't talking about it because he was, perfect through 4 2/3 before they finally got a base hit on him. I mean, he was dealing tonight. Did you know he had this in him?
Yeah, watching him a little bit this spring with Wenatchee Valley, he was a first-team all-conference guy and a left-handed arm, funky kind of an arm slot, and had a good year there, and we just figured, hey, let's roll him out on a Friday night. This is his home field. He's got 2 years experience pitching out here, and I can't say we expected that performance for him to hang 0 after 0 for us and keep wanting the ball, but really, really impressive on his end.
That was on Friday night. On Saturday, it was Aiden Doherty night at the ballpark. He had 5 hits. Cade Benavidez drove in 5 runs. Apple Sox beating the Lefties 16-13 on Saturday. Doherty recorded the 7th 5-hit game in Apple Sox history. He went 5 for 6, had 3 RBIs. Benavidez homered, doubled twice, walked, and was hit by a pitch. He reached base 5 times. And then on Sunday, The Sox scored 3 runs in the first, 7 in the second, and 5 runs in the sixth. They cruised to a 15-2 win, 35 runs over the weekend. That was their most in the first 3 home games in league play in franchise history. Wenatchee sweeps its first League 3-game series of the season for the 2nd consecutive summer and for the 6th time in franchise history. Other scores from the West Coast League from Sunday. They didn't get playing at all. Both Cowlitz and Portland just poured rain down there. So Corvallis at Cowlitz and Ridgefield at Portland, they didn't get played. The other scores, Bellingham just snuck by Edmonton in a football score. 14-13, it was Victoria over Kamloops, Kelowna over Nanaimo, Yakima Valley over Springfield, and Walla Walla, a town so nice they named it twice, knocked off Bend. The final was 10-6. So the standings, I know it's early, but here it is. We are in the North Division. Wenatchee on top in league play. They have a non-league game today, by the way. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Followed by Victoria, Bellingham, Nanaimo, and on down the line. It's still early. Yeah, the Sox wrap up their 4-game homestand tonight. They have a non-league game against the Redmond Dudes, and they travel to Port Angeles to start a 6-game road trip tomorrow. Packed house at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval on Saturday night. Here are your results in the Dix Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars. Eric Hector out of Moses Lake takes the checkered flag. Gary Homad out of Waterville second. Luke Shaw out of Wenatchee finished third. In the Angels Bail Bonds Legends, Jason Irwin of Albuquerque, New Mexico came a long way and takes the checkered flag. Gabe Sessler out of Prosser was in second, and Andrew Reel out of Troutdale, Oregon finishes third. And the biggin, the Wenatchee $200, $25,000 goes to Evan Getz of Okanagan. You do have to pay taxes on that, Evan. Hayden Plybon out of Spokane finished second, and Bubba Pollard, who came all the way from Georgia, finishing third. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 27 minutes after the hour. The obscure holiday. It's National Egg Day, the incredible edible egg. And if you always wanted to know why brown eggs cost more than white eggs, because the hens that lay brown eggs are bigger hens. Ergo, it costs more money to feed, and so brown eggs cost more than white eggs, although that's the only real difference. Older chickens lay eggs with thinner shells than younger chickens do. Free-range chickens lay eggs with richer colored yolks. So not only do they have a richer colored yolk, but they're also more nutritious than eggs from caged chickens. And both the egg yolks and the egg whites have the same amount of protein, so it doesn't really matter there. Of course, the egg also happens to be very good for you, although they're getting a little pricey. The incredible edible. Today is Egg Day. Enjoy a couple. Today in history, June 3rd, 1781. Everybody knows about the midnight ride of Paul Revere. This is the midnight ride of Jack Jouett. He had to warn Thomas Jefferson and the Virginia legislature that the British are coming. The British are coming. So Jefferson and the legislators said, hey, we need a heads up on that. The British route is shown in red. What Jack did, his 40-mile ride started about 10 o'clock in the evening. He had to do it by moonlight. He had to do the back roads to get to where he needed to be ahead of the British. So a little love for Jack Jouett, who had his own midnight ride, which was just as impressive as Paul Revere's that happened on this date in 1781. Happy birthday to the very first long-distance electric power transmission line in this country. Not surprisingly, it had to be pretty close to a dam, and it was. It was a 14-mile run between the generator at the Willamette Falls and downtown Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon gets the first long-distance electric power transmission line on the state in 1889. 84 years ago today, the Battle of Dunkirk came to an end. Of course, the German victory. But boy, Hitler blew this one. They could have really done some damage, but they stopped for a week. And that means that 338,226 soldiers stuck on the French coast was able to get the hell out of there, courtesy of a rather hastily assembled fleet of basically 800 boats. Anything that could float across the English Channel was pressed into service, and they evacuated a bunch of soldiers who otherwise would have been POWs or killed, all because Hitler decided to take a break at the last time you were supposed to not take a break. The Battle of Dunkirk ends. Of course, it was a complete German victory, but they would get theirs in the end. And finally, 35 years ago today, the government of China sends troops into Tiananmen Square after 7 weeks of occupation. How many people died? I don't know, because the Chinese, the media is state-run, and they ain't saying. Most best guesstimates are about hundreds and thousands were killed, a few soldiers as well, but they said, nah, this whole democracy thing, we're not going to do that here. That was on the state in 1989. I remember watching that on TV. One heavenly birthday, of course, is Chuck Barris. I'm not sure if he's in heaven. Of course, he hosted The Gong Show. He created the dating game and the newlywed game. And 40 years ago, he wrote his autobiography, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, which is completely made up. He said he used to work for the CIA, that he killed people for the CIA, killed 33 people. Then he wrote a sequel because it sold so well. Turns out the whole thing was a crock. Chuck Barris, born and stayed in 1929. And Rafael Nadal, who's in Paris right now at Roland Garros, trying for his 15th French Open title. He's got 14 of them, which is insane. He's won the U.S. Open 4 times. He's won Wimbledon twice, won the Australian Open twice. He's got 22 Grand Slam titles, second most of all time. Rafael Nadal is 38 years old today. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor. That, my friends, will be Alpine Air. You know it's going to get really hot this weekend. Not too late. Have Alpine Air come on out and take a look at your HVAC system, because it's going to be tested on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with the heat coming. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Special thanks to our friends at Pool to Spa Services, celebrating Prestige Senior Living. We love them too. Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista, both the main campus in Wenatchee and their satellite campus in East Wenatchee, and our friends at Pool to Spa Services. Going to take a break. Mike Mignotti has an opinion, and then Chuck Egner from the Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival will be my guest when we come back. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
In Digital Media Arts program, we learn about video production gear and editing by the combination of class projects and nonprofit work and employment.
It makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
We work in the industry at the Wenatchee Round, NCW Live Channel, and the Town Toyota Center events. Every day we work with industry standard equipment for a hands-on learning experience.
This is Mike Mad Dog McNulty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, here's a poser for you. Something I consider one of the most nonsensical societal inanias of our time. Certain Christian folks have been declaring that a very successful female pop star is demonic due to some lyrics they consider offensive on her new album. Now, at the same time, some of these folks are supporting a morally corrupt individual for president of our country. Now, I don't get it. Hey, look, vote for Trump if you want to. I'll salute. And you're under no compunction to listen to Taylor Swift's new album. But, geesh, calling Swift demonic and then supporting Trump? Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
The Wenatchee Valley. Here, most of us really enjoy the great outdoors, and most of us try to make the most of our natural resources. Here at Apple Valley Honda, we know that for generations, we have harnessed nature to sustainably power the West, and we are proud to be part of that tradition as an environmentally green dealership award winner. Being a green dealership means Apple Valley Honda has reduced our overall environmental impact. We are so proud to live in this wonderful community.
Have you noticed how expensive it is this summer to feed a family at most restaurants? Even a burger basket for 6 people can run you $60. But at Abby's, you can still feed a family of 4 to 6 for less than $26. Real value. That's one more reason we're legendary. We know what Abby's customers like on their pizza. Meat. Lots of meat. That's why this month, we're piling on the classic pepperoni, Canadian bacon, and beef. Abby's Triple Topper has the meat you love, and right now, it's on sale. Order your Triple Topper at abbys.com.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether. We provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
About 21 years ago, a bunch of folks got together. They had 3 things in common. They had a passion for quality bluegrass music. They wanted to bring quality bluegrass music to North Central Washington, and most important of all, they weren't very bright. You combine those 3 things, good stuff happens. And the Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival is back again, always the 3rd weekend in June, and back again. Here's our good buddy Chuck Egner. He's the guy who's in charge of finding the talent and bringing it here. Chuck, it's good to see you.
Good to be here. Good
You're
to be
looking
seen.
well, my friend.
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah. Did you know back in 2003 that this was just a bunch of, let's put a show together, gang, and now look at it.
I think if I'd have known, I wouldn't have done it. No, that's not true. We had, hopes and aspirations, but I mean, the first one, you've seen what it's like now. The first one was pitifully small. But it was all we could handle. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was good for us. But, I mean, the first couple of years we tried at 2 venues, the community center and at the fairgrounds. Whew, we didn't have the staff to be able to do that properly. And then we realized that you couldn't just sustain it based on ticket sales. So we had to get aggressive and active in getting donors. Some festivals use a sponsorship model. We don't. We use a donor model. And thank goodness we have some very special donors here in Kashmir and up in Leavenworth and in other parts of the state. So our donor base is good. Then we discovered there's grants out there for nonprofits, and we're a 501c3. So we started pursuing the grant thing. And probably 5 or 6 years in, we got a grant from the Icicle Fund. And that was the thing that catapulted us from getting the best regional bands to getting good national bands. And then when that worked, that leveraged us up into the very top of the national bands.
Because then the word gets out amongst the top level bands that this is a gig that they want to come do. If they're hitting the road, they want to make sure that they can swing by Kashmir that 3rd weekend in June. The word gets out in the bluegrass community.
Yeah, it does. And our audience is attentive. Back in the Southeast, a lot of the audiences are outdoor on lawn chairs. People are talking to each other, catching up. They're not in and focused. Ours is a very intimate setting for these guys. So there's 700, 800 people in a room, just right on top of them. People aren't talking. They're just into the music. And so for the bands, it's more gratifying than playing back there. Also, there's so much less bluegrass out here than in the Southeast. There it's just kind of, it's what's around. And here it's a novel thing. We have people coming from Canada, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, even
and
California.
For good reason. The talent you brought in again this year, and we'll talk about how we went about doing that. Appalachian Roadshow, Seth Mulder and Midnight Run. Carly Arrowwood is a fascinating story. Rockridge will be there in North Country. Your job is to bring these groups in, right? That's kind of your...
Well, it has been. I'm transitioning out of that. We have one of our board members is a young lawyer. He's still a good guy. And he moved to Nashville so he could be closer to the music scene. And he's in the band North Country, coincidentally. But he's a board member, and this year he started taking over some of the duties.
So you have somebody in Nashville associated with your group that can actually go out and check out the venues and check out the bands one-on-one, which is something that you used to do.
Yeah, and we now have 2 guys in Nashville actually on our board. Jake Monroe also moved to Nashville. He's an architect. His girlfriend moved to Nashville, and so he naturally followed, and now they're married, and it's all good. Jake will be back here for the festival also, but we have 2 guys in Nashville who have complete and total ties to the Kashmir Valley, Wenatchee Valley, Kashmir area. So, and Will being a lawyer, he's, understands contracts and things like that. I know when we did, 4 or 5 years ago, we first signed the contract with the Appalachian Roadshow, and then COVID came. We'd given them a nice deposit. COVID came, everything got canceled. We let all the bands that year keep their deposits. And then the next year we re-signed another contract with Appalachian Roadshow, except we didn't really sign anything. I called the main guy up. I said, "You up for it?" He said, "Yeah." Same terms, yeah. And then that got canceled. So then 2 years ago, it came to fruition. And we really didn't redo the contract, I don't think. Handshake deal, they come out here, they just blew the place away.
Well, it speaks well of them and your reputation.
Well, I hope so. But anyway, so some of these bands now with Will McSeveny, who's the new guy, we'll have official contracts when we need them. Sometimes we don't need them. For instance, with the 2 regional bands, to my knowledge, there's no contract whatsoever with them. They're just people that we know.
They are getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
We should probably mention that.
They're getting paid.
So is the first rule of thumb is they have to be on tour? Because they're not going to come all the way out to little old Kashmir.
Not anymore.
Not necessarily. They'll do it.
The Appalachian Roadshow is coming here for a one-off. Actually, all the national bands, this is just it. They either fly or drive out, depending on what their situation is. Now, they do try to tie other things into it if they can, but unfortunately, there's a couple of big festivals on our weekend. One of them is very well known down in California, Grass Valley. The other one is up in Canada. We're set up to where we have to have a band for 2 or 3 days. A band coming from any distance at all to do a one-day thing just doesn't work. It never has worked for us. So, for instance, they've wanted to do, can I do Grass Valley Friday night and you guys Saturday? Well, it doesn't work for us. We got to have a spot filled. So they're coming out just for ours. Now, having said that, there's a small festival the week before us, and sometime a band will stop by there and play. In fact, that's where Appalachian Roadshow first came to the Northwest, the festival prior to us down in Tri-Cities area, Sacagawea. But anyway, so we get bands from wherever, and they come in just for this. If they can score something else, great. If they can't.
But this is now a go-to destination.
Oh, yeah.
So it's in the bluegrass community. If you get an opportunity to come out here, they're going to play. Again, Appalachian Roadshow, Seth Mulder, Midnight Run. Talk about Carly Arrowwood. This is a pretty interesting little story.
Yeah, Carly Arrowwood, well, she started playing well when she was 10 years old, and started playing in bands when she was 10 years old. And I mean, just think about it. When I was 10, but anyway, and she got picked up by a group called Darren and Brooke Aldridge, who were back east, are pretty famous. They're a brother and sister group that has a full band, and she was a fiddle player for that for some years. And then she got hooked up with the great players in Nashville. She's from Hendersonville, North Carolina, where I played my last high school football game in the 1960s. Just a little tidbit there. Yeah, so anyway, she's great. She's a great singer and a great fiddle player. She's gotten national awards for both singing and fiddling.
Well, let's show a quick little, this is about a minute and a half maybe, of Carly Arrowwood. Carly Arrowwood. Easy for me to say. Here's a little snippet.
Today.
So there she is, the pride of Chuck's old neck of the woods, class of '69, right, Chuck? You said it was in the '60s.
Yeah, it was class of '70, but close enough.
We'll cut. Appalachian Roadshow. We've already talking about these guys. It's a quintet, 5 of them. All of them play different instruments. They play very well. Talk a little bit about these guys.
So 3 of the guys kind of own the band. They own the name and everything, and then they've got 2 hired guns. The lineup has been the same from the beginning, and yeah, they're just seasoned veterans. The guitar player is fairly young, probably not as young as he looks, but he's a great guitar player. But the banjo player, the mandolin player, and the fiddle player, they're all veterans, 30 years in the business. And they're really good storytellers. They've got great stage presence. At the last festival, the leader of the band came to me and said, "We've got one song where if we had a clawhammer banjo player in it, it would really add something to it. Our banjo player plays a Scruggs style 3-finger." And I said, "We do have a lady here that is really, really good at clawhammer." And so I introduced him, and Martha was a very good player, is a very good player, but she never played with a national band or anything. And they spent about 20 minutes messing around in the campground. And everybody at the festival knows Martha. She's been at all of them from the beginning. And 2/3 of the way through the Saturday night show, he makes an announcement that we're going to bring up Martha Stone. And she just stopped the room. It was incredible. And the fact that they were willing to do that was great. And you just don't, a rock band's not going to, come out of the audience. Not going to happen. Anyway, so they're great guys. That Saturday night, it happened to rain real hard after the show, and they all came out and hung out in my trailer. And I've got about an hour's worth of video of that
I'd like
band.
to see that.
I got it right here.
Well, we actually have a professionally produced video, and the one thing you'll notice about these guys, Appalachian Roadshow, what I really like, it's a traditional 5-piece band. All of the 5 basic instruments that make up a bluegrass organization are there. You got your banjo, you got your guitar, you got your mandolin, you got your fiddle, and you got your stand-up bass. That, to me, is a full sound.
Yeah, now some bands will throw a dobro in there, but really that's the extent of it.
Yeah, and some of these guys, a lot of these bands, they play more than one instrument. Here's a little snippet of Appalachian Roadshow.
Day, no water, no rest. I saw my chance, so I got him at last. I took his 6-shooter, put 2 in his chest. He'll never say a word no more. No, he'll never say a word no more. Oh, the devil got him good for sure. Ain't got no place to call our home. Only chains and broken bones. Ain't got no place to call our home. So come on, Lord, won't you take me now?
Notice how I pronounced it correctly, too, by the way. Appalachian Roadshow, you get in trouble. Real quick, talk about North Country and Rock Ridge, and then we'll get you into some of the gooey stuff that folks need to know.
So Rock Ridge is a band from Oregon. It's based around Dale Adkins and Suzanne Adkins, his wife. Anyway, his son is now the mandolin player in the band. And I remember his son when he was 5 or 6 years old. Now he's all grown up, and he's a great player. Great vocals. Great harmonies, and Dale is just a monster guitar player, but in this configuration he's playing mostly banjo, and he's a great banjo player also. So they're really a good band. North Country is a little closer to home, well, except the fact that one of the guys lives in Nashville now. But anyway, they all grew up around here or Seattle or whatever. And they're a regional band, but I mean they're really top-level band, and everyone will enjoy them. They got a good guitar player, great guitar player actually. They're all great players.
Do the five, the main acts that we've talked about, do they compare set lists? So they go, okay, well, who's playing Foggy Mountain Breakdown and who's playing Rocky Tops, and make sure they don't repeat?
Occasionally, we have a green room, okay, which is a place where everybody hangs out before they go on stage. And there's basically two separate areas where two bands can practice at the same time, and then a third band will be on stage. So if they realize that one of the big deals is the big deal for both bands, one of them will decide to, why don't you do it Friday night, we'll do it Saturday night, that kind of thing. But they don't go through a lot of that. And to me, it's kind of cool. I like to hear the same song by two different bands, just hear how they treat it.
And just because it's the same song doesn't mean it's the same song, as we all know. We've learned that. Let's get to the nitty gritty, the ooey gooey stuff. We cannot stress this enough. You can't buy tickets in advance. It's just, it simplifies everything for you guys in a myriad of ways, because we're talking about it. People go, where do I get tickets? Where do I get tickets? Where do I get tickets? You show up and get tickets. Tell us the important stuff that people need to know, because I know it drives you crazy when people say, how come I can't buy tickets? It's just the way it is, and it's easier for you guys.
So the reason we don't sell advance tickets is our board is all volunteer. The younger ones all have full-time jobs, which 50, 60 hours a week. The old ones don't have the energy anymore. And you have to give a cut of the ticket sales to whoever's handling all that software and stuff.
Yeah, they take a cut, and sometimes a pretty significant cut.
And so in all the years we've been doing this, we've never had to turn anybody away because we're over full. So we've got the advantage of having the Expo Center in Kashmir, which has got that gigantic building there.
Covered,
air-conditioned, heated, which in the third weekend in June, you can need either, depending on the year. So there's that. We've never sold that out. On the camping side of it, we have a somewhat limited amount of full hookups, but it's 150 or 140 actually. But as long as you don't need full hookups, it's pretty much unlimited. We've got overflow areas that we've never really even used. So we've got the campground area on one side that's got the full hookups, campground area next to it that's got limited or no hookups, and then there's a tent area. And then in the regular part of the fairgrounds, a lot of families go over there that got a bunch of kids. So just over time it's developed that this one little hill over there is just loads of little kids, which is great, and it's right near Taylor's Camp, which is the kids camp we have on Saturday. So that's really nice too. But again, no advance sales, no reservations in the campground. So on that subject, we have filled up by Thursday morning in the past, even Wednesday afternoon, in terms of full hookups. So if you want full hookups, no reservations, but if you get there Monday, you can drive right in.
Monday
Tuesday,
at noon, right, is what
Monday
it opens?
at noon, yep. And Marie, the president of our organization, she is the campground guru, and she's got a great staff of people year in and year out, same people, and they camp people, they park people. They go in there on Sunday and stripe it and everything, so it's pretty organized.
Does your camping fee, be it $145 for the full hookup, does that include the tickets, or is that tickets separate?
No, that's everything.
Okay, wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get $145 worth of entertainment, and you get to stay right there.
So yeah, and day passes, if you just want to come in from the day, you're down here in Wenatchee or wherever, they're $35. If you buy a $45 ticket, you get the whole weekend, which includes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Sunday, if you just want to come see the gospel show, it's $20 for the gospel show. I would point out that this year, for the first time ever, all three of the gospel bands are all national bands. So in the past, we've usually used one or two regional bands and one national band, but now they're all national bands. So
good for you. I'm looking forward to it. Again, it is the 2024 Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival with Chuck Egner. We got all that important information. Tell me.
June 14th to the 16th.
Right. Always the third weekend of June, which is kind of early this year.
Yeah, it is.
It's early this year because the first weekend actually.
And Taylor's Camp is the one last thing.
Right. Yeah. That's to get the kids involved. You don't. If you've never picked up a string instrument in your life, and you got a kid out there who just might be interested, they should check it out.
We have a room full of instruments. We had donors this year that gave us a bunch more instruments. I had a donor that gave us some cash, and I just bought 3 more fiddles just this week. So we have a lot of instruments for the kids, from little kids to teenagers, and we've got the instructors are all kids who were kids, and now they're in their mid-20s or older.
And that's got to make you feel good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Jake Monroe, the director of the camp, started out as an 8-year-old.
I was 8 years old once. Then I turned 9 and I wasn't 8 anymore. All the information, go to WBF. Just Google Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival. It'll show up. It's a page inside the Cashmere Coffee House page. Real quickly, Chuck, talk about what you brought me today. Woohoo! Let's give 37 Cellars a little love.
Well, thanks a lot. That's Cabernet Sauvignon from 2017. It's from the Sagemore Farms, Bacchus Vineyard, which is about 15 miles north of Pasco. And it's a nice cab. It's 100% cab, French oak.
It'll find itself a home. I found there's a I forgot the name of the business at the Pybus Public Market that sells this. I haven't seen too many. These are hard to find, Chuck, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, we've quit making it. We've got that's 17. We've got 18 to go, and then we're done. But we're real happy with it, and we're still selling it at Fire down at Pybus. They're buying it very regularly, all the Viscontis.
That's it, Fire, thank you.
Yep.
I feel like an idiot.
Yep.
And we will be visiting Chuck at the fairgrounds the week leading up to the Wenatchee River Bluegrass Festival. Thanks for coming down, Chuck. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll see you, I guess, next week sometime.
Next week.
Cool. Chuck Egner, everybody, give up a big hand.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Hey, hon, would you run this around to the wash rack?
Oh, okay.
Hey, hon, what happened?
They shrunk the truck.
The all-new midsize Canyon is now available at Sangster Motors.
Crown Furniture knows the most important part of a healthy and productive lifestyle is good quality sleep. The Englander Mattress Company is dedicated to manufacturing the best mattresses made in the USA. Englander chooses the finest materials made in the USA with a drive, dedication, and attention to detail, earning them a 99% satisfaction rating. Stop by Crown Furniture today on South Wenatchee Avenue and save up to 35% on select Englander mattresses.
All right, still pretty cloudy, 54 degrees. The rain that was in the forecast when we visited on Friday didn't quite materialize. We had some light raindrops off and on, but there's still a chance of a little bit of light rain, as you can see there. Best chance of some light rain or maybe even a pop-up thunderstorm. It is June, after all. To the north of us, especially in the Methow Valley area, Mazama and Winthrop, you could get a pop-up thunderstorm. The big story today for everybody, the wind. We have a wind advisory in effect. Now this cold front is a very vigorous one, and this is a serious weather anomaly. This has not happened in the Wenatchee Valley in north central Washington for decades. This kind of system this late in the year. Here it is, June 3rd. We're only going to get to 65 degrees, and it's going to be extremely windy today as this cold front slams into the Wenatchee Valley. By the time we get to late afternoon, early evening, it'll be howling. It's going to be windy overnight tonight into Tuesday before it finally dies down on Tuesday night. But really the next 48 hours, extremely windy conditions. And you know what that means. Keep an eye on your empty garbage can before it rolls down the alley. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Only 65, that's 10 degrees below normal. Light rain, lots of wind today, especially this afternoon. Lots of wind tonight, 47 for the overnight low. Blustery all day Tuesday. We'll see some sunshine, but very windy, and a high of 71. The winds will die down Tuesday night. Wednesday starts looking good, 78. Then a big dome, a high pressure really gets going on Thursday, and we'll be into the 90s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's it for us. Have a great Monday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Live It Up, the show where we explore and discuss how to take your life to that next level and beyond. We cover health, wealth, relationships, and how to create a life that feels good. Because after all, that's what we want. We want to feel good. Hey, I'm your host and coach, Fletcher Ellingson, and today on the show, we'll be visiting with Jessica Drake, who is a reporter for the Wenatchee World, covering arts and entertainment. And Jessica has a long history